welcome you to another episode of The Smiling Nurse, sponsored by S for Nigeria. My name is Ajiboye Folashade, popularly known as The Smiling Nurse, and today we shall be discussing a very critical topic: depression, a silent killer. If you've had the opportunity to visit a psychiatric hospital recently, you will agree with me that depression is the best topic to discuss. Depression is a mood disorder and it has three characteristics. The first one is low mood. Anybody suffering from depression will have a low mood. The second one is feeling of sadness. The person will not be happy. The person will be feeling down, unhappy, will be sad. And the third one is loss of interest. Even activities that has been pleasurable to the person before will look unpleasurable to the person. Depression is not a good condition because it affects the way you feel, the way you think, the way you behave. And the fact is that almost everybody has experienced depression one time or the other. Let's quickly run through the causes of depression. There is no single cause of depression because it is a brain disorder and it occurs due to the combination of both genetic and environmental factors. But there are some risk factors that are associated with depression. So the first one I'm going to mention is family issue. So if you notice someone in your family, might be your mom, your dad, your uncle, or your aunt, if someone in the family is suffering from depression, the person is always feeling down, always feeling hopeless, maybe the person has even attempted suicide once or twice. So you have to note that, and there are some cautions you have to take so that you won't end up in the person's shoe. You understand? So the second one is early childhood trauma. Early childhood trauma is another thing that can cause depression. Childhood trauma like rape, kidnapping, accidents, natural disaster, and other traumatic events. So as the child grows, she tends to remember all these events, traumatic events, and she tends to get depressed, feel unhappy, lose interest, get withdrawn. So this is another risk factor that can cause depression later in life. The third risk factor is economic crisis. Just take a look at what we are passing through in Nigeria. The price of things is going higher every day and salary is crawling. You understand? So people tend to get depressed, thinking, what am I going to eat? Am I going to pay my children's school fees? Am I going to pay rent? Things like that. Another risk factor is pressure. Pressure to give birth, pressure to get rich, pressure to buy a car, pressure to buy new clothes. You see a lot of pressure on social media. Your new friend that celebrated her birthday last week, or let me say yesterday, she posted it on Instagram that she had her money bet with money, thousands of naira. She was betting inside thousands of naira, and you could not even afford one cake, so you are getting depressed because of that. Pressure, if not handled correctly, can lead to depression. Another risk factor is failure. Failure can give birth to depression. I know you heard of the story of a boy that failed JAMB, and because of that he committed suicide. He could not handle the failure. He could not adjust to the situation. The next thing he did was to get depressed and committed suicide. And I want you to note this: depression is the biological mother of suicide. So failure, if not handled the right way, can lead to depression. Another risk factor is fear of the future. What does my future hold? I don't even know I'm going to handle it. I'm 28. I've not achieved anything. I've not even gotten married. My mates are giving birth already. What am I going to do? When am I going to build a house? When am I going to buy a car? When am I going to finish from university? Things like that. All these thoughts, they are messengers of depression. They are sending you signals already. If care is not taken, if you continue and you continue and you continue, you didn't take any precaution, you will enter into depression. Another risk factor is family conflicts. This affects females a lot. So if the home is full of fighting, upon misunderstanding, upon arguments, anybody in the family can get depressed, thinking we are even fed up with everything in this family. Why is it fighting every day? Why is it abusive languages every day? They won't interact with each other. Everyone will be withdrawn, just be on your own in your room, not talking to anybody. If you are home from morning to night, you're not talking to anybody, nobody is talking to each other. All these things can lead to depression. The last one I'm going to talk about is relationship problems. Relationship problems like breakup, divorce, and other relationship problems. Auntie, because the uncle broke up with you now, you don't want anybody to rest again. You are always crying in your room. You will not talk to anybody. You are always feeling withdrawn. You are not interested in anything again. You are getting depressed because of that man, because of that guy. When my brother is still in the house, not married, maybe you are the one you will get married to. We've been able to establish things that could make someone to get depressed. Now let's quickly talk on the signs and symptoms. What are those things you are going to see, you are going to note, you are going to observe in someone that will make you to get and to know if someone is getting depressed? The first I'm going to talk about is difficulties in concentration. You can't concentrate. When you notice you are easily carried away, when they ask you, oh, sorry, you are always lost in thoughts, that is a sign that you are getting depressed. Another one is remembering of details. You are forgetting details. And so where is the file that I ask you to bring to my office? Sir, which file? When you are forgetting details, let me write this, but you've forgotten already. So that one too, that one is another sign that you are getting depressed. Another thing is fatigue. When you are feeling weak, you are just feeling down, you just feel like lying down, you just feel like sitting down in a place, not interacting with people, just feeling weak, you are getting depressed. And another thing you are going to see is feeling of guilt. It's not your fault. Another sign is difficulty completing tasks. Things you've been doing before. Maybe you've been given 3 things to do, and before you started noticing the signs, you complete those tasks within 30 minutes, but it's taking you 3 hours. You are still there, you are still on the first one, so you have to watch it. Another sign you are going to see is feeling of worthlessness. The person will be feeling hopeless, will be feeling worthless. Another sign is irritability. The person will be irritable. Any small thing like this, she don't vex, she don't get angry with that. Another one is restlessness. The person will just be it is well, oh. The person will be restless, will be moving up and down without having any motive. You understand? Another thing is loss of interest. The person will not have interest in anything, even the things that he or she has been doing before and has been pleasurable. So it will look as if this thing is nothing. I'm not interested. Let's go out. I'm not interested. Let's go to the party. I'm not interested. Let's go and play ball. I'm not interested. She will not be interested in anything. Another sign is thought of suicide. The person will be thinking of killing him or herself, or maybe I should drink this, maybe I should jump into the river, maybe I should do this, maybe I should stab myself. You understand? So when someone, and don't forget I told you under the risk factors that depression is the biological mother of suicide. Before someone will say he or she is committing suicide, the person might have been nursing depression. So another sign you are going to see is talking more slowly. What is the problem? Abeg, leave me alone, I'm fine. That's another sign of someone getting depressed. Another thing is loss of appetite. That you see food before, you will deal with food anyhow. You are seeing food, you are just eyeing the food, you are not eating it. That's another sign that you are getting depressed. Another thing you are going to see is the person will be crying unnecessarily, like a child. Any small thing, she started crying. Any small thing is crying. That is another sign that the person is getting depressed. Another thing you are going to see is weight loss. The person will be reducing weight. Of course, he has not been eating well. So what else? Weight loss will set in. Okay, so I know you are about asking me if depression is treatable, because most people, even after observing this sign in their body, they won't talk, they won't speak up. Why? Because even after speaking up, people tend to stigmatize them. They won't want to move with them again. People tend to get tired of them. What is your problem? You are always unhappy. You are always crying. You are always this. You are always that. People don't really get involved to help them out. They are always stigmatized. But one thing I want you to know is, if you can speak up, if you can talk when you notice all these signs in you, it is treatable. There is treatment for depression. And I'm very happy to tell you that it is preventable. So this is what we are going to do in our next episode of the Smiling Nurse. We are going to talk about the management or treatment of depression, as well as the prevention of depression. Thank you for watching, and you must not miss the next episode of the Smiling Nurse, which is being sponsored by Health for Nigeria. I am Ajiboye Folashade. Bye.